don't pay attention to how I'm wearing the same thing as last week. I totally recorded these videos at different times and not the same time. Why would I record something at the same time? I totally have things to do that a regular human being would do, actually. Yeah. So, you're broke. You follow a lot of sex workers. You want to support them, but you're not sure how. You came to the right place. I'm going to tell you, dear viewer, how to support sex workers for free when you're unable to support them monetarily. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, and this is probably the biggest one, retweet, share, engage with their content. The algorithms of these apps like Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube are constantly changing, and they're constantly changing to stop folks from gaming the system. But one thing always remains constant. Engagement is king. Clicks, upvotes, likes, watch time, whatever. They all factor into the audience that get to see a particular post. The more engagement that one swir, I'm just gonna call them swurs from now on. I'm hoping that saying the word sex will stop me from being demonetized. So, the more engagement that a swir gets means the more people that see their posts. Thus, that means that they are exposed to more people who will most likely be able to pay for their content. Second of all, report pirated content. Now, you yourself can't necessarily report pirated content. A lot of these tube sites, they do require the swir themselves to actually report it because they have the forms and identification and all of that to make sure, the correct paperwork to make sure that everything is in order and they can pull the video and make sure that you actually own the video and not the other person who uploaded it. Because really what you're doing is you're submitting a DCMA claim. Well, what I would be doing if it's my video. So, but if you see one of my videos or someone that you're fond of and you know that that's not a video that they would have posted, you know that's not their account, you know that it's just some rando that's posting their content because they want to be, I guess, Pornhub famous. Wow, I'm really testing YouTube's limits to see what they're going to let up and not. I mean, I'm not necessarily in this for the money, so it doesn't necessarily 100% matter to me. I just don't want them to remove my channel. The channel that I only have one other video on. It's cool. If you see a video that a sex worker is in or featured in, and you know that that video should not be out there in its entirety, alert them or alert the person or persons in the video. This is huge because typically one of us would have to just look for this content and then strike it down ourselves, among all the other things that we may be doing, like scheduling to make new content or making new content, editing content, all that stuff that you would rather see us do. And also, this should be a given, but don't post pirated content. That's not cool. Third, credit your creators. Well, I guess not your creators, credit the creators. Alright? I see this on Twitter a whole lot where a picture of someone I either know or that I'm familiar with is posted without any attribution to them, any links back to their sites, or even like just adding them on the platform, you know, or the platforms that they are on if they're not on the platform that you're posting the picture. And it's usually these like really big accounts. You see this the most on Twitter because I'm honestly on Twitter the most. However, I'm sure it happens on Instagram, Reddit, etc. But on Twitter, you'll have these accounts that are themed. There's ones for bears, there's ones for chasers, chubs, like muscle dudes, there's hundreds for every different type of subcategory, and every so often a page may post a picture or just continuously post pictures without crediting people. So one thing that you can do, if you are one of those pages, always credit the person. Like, if you don't know who this is, reverse image search it. Like, Google gives you the tools to make this a lot easier on you. If you reverse image search the picture, if there's no watermark on it or anything like that, just reverse image search it and you'll probably find the person. If their account still exists, that is, I suppose. But most likely that will be a really easy way to find them. If you're not one of these accounts and you're just a regular person that retweets porn all the time, at the person and if you see one of these posts. If I don't know if this has happened to me before, of course, because if they don't tag me and I'm not tagged, like, I'm not gonna know. But if you're a commenter on one of these posts, just put in the @ there. It will start routing traffic to people who like the post, people who like the person, gain them more exposure and possibly more subscribers or tips or, really anything that could help a sex worker that needs money. So, like, all of them. But if you're saying, I don't see what's so big of a deal about adding the person, just kind of see it this way. Like, if you don't add this person, let's post like a picture that they took and is their content, and then trying to gain followers and likes and retweets off of their content as a completely different entity without promoting them, like, that's not cool. That's not cool. Share the wealth. We don't have a monopoly on followers or even paid subscribers. A lot of people who subscribe on Just for Fans are subscribed to multiple pages. So there's that. Do with that information what you will. Now, number 4. Tag creators and posts. This kind of sounds like my last point, but it's distinct in the fact that we're talking about very specific posts. We're talking about, if you're on Twitter especially, you've probably seen these. They are the OnlyFans engagement threads, or the Just for Fans engagement threads, or just general, like, sex worker engagement threads. Just tag some of your favorites in there. They can drop their links, they can drop pictures, they can drop their Cash App, their Venmo, their whatever. And buyers seek out those threads so they can actually, buy. Usually when I'm in one of these threads, I get anywhere from just 1 to like a couple of subscribers. And if I'm running a sale, they usually take most of my slots in that sale. This kind of goes back to my second point, where if you are tagging us in these posts, and we don't have to really spend a lot of time to find these posts, of course, within reason. Don't go and search out these posts and then tag the same person 100 times and clog up their mentions over it. But just within reason, you see a post that's like black trans sex workers, and you're like, oh, I know a black trans sex worker, Maxim Lupin, and or Puppo Max, and or Just Max. I'm gonna throw his @ down. He's gonna come in, he's gonna put his links and pictures and maybe a trailer or something, and he's gonna get all the monies. Whenever someone does that, I always feel very good on the inside. And I'm just like, oh, you thought of me, and oh, I'm your favorite? It's also just kind of like, mood boost or ego boost, depending on how you want to see it. But it really helps mentally, emotionally, and financially, which we all really need in this time. And lastly, my 5th point, this kind of piggybacks off of the last point, where you will refer your friends. Now, how is this kind of different than those engagement posts? Well, typically, what I kind of mean by refer your friends is you'll see these posts that come out, and maybe one of the people that you follow is like, hey, I need more muscle bears on my timeline. Link some at muscle bears, or like, at some muscle bears, mention some muscle bears, whatever you want to call it, so I can follow them. And this can be done with a number of topics: more black men, more trans men, etc., etc. Like, I'm looking to buy content from, usually it's a group of people, but even if it's just like general, like, hey, I need more people to follow on OnlyFans, or I need more people to follow on Just for Fans. Drop a couple of people's ads so I can look at them. Anything like that. Drop a content creator's ad in there. They'll thank you. They'll be happy. But yes, that's 5 of the ways you can support sex workers for free. If you are a sex worker, or if you know how to support sex workers for free and other ways, drop them in the comments. If you like this video, like the video. If you dislike the video, dislike it. It's all engagement. It actually doesn't matter in the end. So, do what you gotta do. I'll see you next week with another video. I need to go write some scripts. If you want to support me, you can, and you're over the age of 18, follow me on Instagram at PuppoMax, or Twitter at PuppoMax. Or if you're feeling really generous, you can tip me on Cash App or Venmo at PuppoMax. And if you are feeling really generous, you can subscribe to my Just for Fans, which is justfor.fans/PuppoMax. Alright, thanks folks, and I'll see you again next week. Yeah.